which coming he is going to have this time. Which coming are we waiting for? The coming in the clouds of Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16, or the coming now to establish the kingdom. But our study, we are studying the book in the spirit of prophecy called The Word to the Little Flock. That will give us his coming. If we can go to WF, which is Word to the Little Flock, page 4 from the first paragraph. We want to read this spirit of prophecy, the Word to the Little Flock, from the first paragraph, which is talking about the voice of God, isn't it? It talks about the voice of God. Right.
The Lord also shall roll out of Zion.
Right.
And utter his voice from Jerusalem.
Right.
And the heavens and the earth shall shake.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel.
Right. That's Joel chapter 3, verse 16, isn't it? Mm-hmm. What does it say? Joel chapter 3, verse 16 says, the Lord also shall roll out of Zion. Where is Zion? In Jerusalem. That's the David's capital, isn't it? Where his capital city was. So the Lord shall roll out of Jerusalem, which is Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem. That's where Zion is, isn't it? And the heavens and earth shall shake. That's his coming, But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. Now, we have heard from this voice, the voice will be uttered from Jerusalem. Did you hear that? Yes. It's not being uttered from heaven. From the earth. There is a voice coming from the earth, which is Jerusalem, isn't it? And this voice is not coming from heaven. Did you hear that? Right. Let's study. This will give us a clue of what will happen at his coming, so that we prove, is he coming in the clouds right now in Thessalonians chapter 4, or he's going to be establishing the kingdom in Jerusalem? We have been talking about it, isn't it? Yes. Now let's read the paraphrase in the next chapter, the next one, as you are on the second paragraph, Word to the Little Flock, page 4.
Second Advent writers and lecturers have usually confounded the voice of God, which is to shake the heavens and the earth, with the voice of the Son of God.
Second Advent.
The saints.
Right. Second Advent writers and lecturers have usually confounded the voice of God, which is to shake the heavens and the earth, with the voice of the Son of God,
which will call forth the saints.
So we have the voice of God, which is to shake the heavens and the earth. And what else do we have? The voice of the Son of God, which is, so we have two voices there.
Yes.
We have two voices, the one that will shake the heavens and earth, and the one that will what? Call forth the saints. The writers and lecturers have usually confounded this voice of God. They usually say it's the same voice, but we are seeing these are not the same voice. We have a voice from Jerusalem, from Mount Zion, and we have a voice from. There is a voice shaking heavens and earth, and there is a voice calling the saints. Did you hear there's two voices? Yes. Right, let's read on.
But I think that we shall clearly say that here are two distinct events.
So these are two distinct events. How do we know they are two distinct events? Because the voice is coming from Jerusalem.
Yes.
Not from heaven.
Not from heaven. And then we have a voice shaking the heavens and earth. These two events are two.
Yes.
And they're distinct. They are not the same. And now if you say this voice being uttered from Zion and the voice which is going to shake the heaven and earth is the same event, then this is the study we have today. Yeah? Now let's read on.
The voice of God, that is to shake the heavens and the earth,
Right?
comes out of Zion.
Did you hear that? There is a voice which will shake the heavens and earth. It comes from Zion. It comes from Jerusalem. That's the one in Joel chapter 3. Yeah? And
is uttered from Jerusalem.
did you hear that? Right?
But before the voice of Jesus,
But before the voice, yeah.
but before the voice of Jesus
Yes.
calls forth the sleeping saints,
Right?
he is to leave the sanctuary, the heavenly sanctuary, and descend from heaven with his holy angels.
Before.
Yes.
You understand? It says here, the voice of God that is to shake the heavens and the earth comes out of Zion and is uttered from Jerusalem. But before the voice of Jesus calls forth the sleeping saints, yeah, he is to leave the heavenly sanctuary. Did you hear? He lives before he calls the saints. He leaves the heavenly sanctuary and descend from heaven. Yeah? With his holy angels. Then what?
Then, and not till then,
Not till then.
will he send his angels to gather his elect from the four winds, while his voice calls them forth to meet him in the air.
Right? Then, and not till then, will he send his angels to gather his elect from the four winds, while his voice calls them forth to meet him in the air. If the voice, right?
If the voice of God, which is to be uttered from Jerusalem,
Right?
raises the saints, then they will be caught up to meet the Lord in Jerusalem.
Right. So this voice, if it is being uttered from Jerusalem, calls the saints. So where do the saints go?
Jerusalem.
Now, repeat. If the voice,
If the voice of God, which is to be uttered from Jerusalem,
right?
raises the saints, then they will be caught up to meet the Lord in Jerusalem.
Right. So what does it mean? The voice uttered from Jerusalem is not raising the saints yet. Huh?
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes.
Don't be disturbed. This is English grammar.
True.
Yeah? If the voice of God, which is to be uttered from Jerusalem, did you hear that? Raises the saints. Yeah. Huh?
What is that proverb?
What is that proverb?
That ye have in the land of Israel, saying,
Right?
the days are prolonged, and every vision faileth.
Did you hear?
Yes.
Do we have that proverb? Huh? Read it. It's Ezekiel 12.
Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged, and every vision faileth?
Yeah. Even those who laugh are laughing. Where is the Christ that you said is coming? And some are boldly saying, Christ will never come. But Ezekiel is saying, where is that proverb? He says, what is that proverb that you have adopted? So it means Christ will come at the time when everyone unanimously is saying he's never going to come. And even some now believe he is not even there. And some, no, they say there is no Jesus. And Ezekiel 12 is being fulfilled. What is that proverb that says there is no Christ? What is that proverb saying he is never going to come? What is the proverb saying the days are prolonged? Now, wait to the little flock 5.5. Son of man.
What is that proverb?
What is that proverb?
That ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged, and every vision faileth.
Right. It's almost everyone who said,
The days are prolonged.
I'm going to prepare a mission. And when I prepare, I will come. This has been in black and white in the Bible. It's like this vision it's failing. Someone wrote this. Yeah? John 14 wrote this. Yeah? Behold, he cometh with cloud. Someone wrote it. Someone wrote all the coming of Christ, the prophecies of what is going to happen, that he is definitely going to come. Someone wrote that. So it's like these visions are failing when you say there's no Christ, isn't it?
Tell them therefore.
Tell them therefore.
Thus says the Lord.
Thus saith the Lord.
I will make this
I will make that proverb to cease.
No more use it as a proverb.
You will no more, even now, people, there are diseases, there are problems, everyone is saying, he's coming.
Yeah.
He's coming. What is God saying? He is making the proverb to cease.
Yeah.
Everyone shall talk about his coming.
Amen.
Everyone, whether you go to the TV, it will talk about his coming. And everyone will say the end of the world is nigh. He is coming. Yeah? Oh yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Yes. Coming. And the whole world, I'm being told, the whole world can be locked down with diseases and everything. What does that prove to you? He's coming. Earthquakes, famine, tornadoes, disasters, illnesses, fire, flood. All testify he is on his way. Amen. The proverb will be made to cease. That's here.
Tell them therefore.
Tell them therefore.
That says the Lord God. I will make this proverb to cease. And they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel. But say unto them, the days are at hand.
Right?
And the effect of every vision.
The days are at hand. And the effect of everything he has said should happen is happening. Right. Let's go to the next paragraph.
For there shall be no more any vain vision.
No flattering.
No flattering divination.
Right?
With the house of Israel.
Right. No more flattering each other. It will be clear to everyone that he is coming. And are you seeing the signs? Yes. It's clear he is on his way. Yes. The proverb now is ceasing. Everyone is running upside down. The proverb has ceased. Right, let's hear to next paragraph. For
I am the Lord.
Right?
I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass.
Right?
It shall be no more prolonged. In your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word, and will perform it, saith the Lord.
He will perform what he has said in the Bible. He will never say and not perform. When he says he's coming, he will come. Right? That was Ezekiel 12, verse 22 to 25. Have you gone up to 25? 25, yeah? Right. Let's go to the next paragraph. It says, the burden of this prophet. Let's hear the burden of this prophet. People say, the coming, he's never going to come. They are tired. They've gone back to even eating meat. When in 1844, the Sabbath keepers started, they were all vegetarians. Because Sister White was given the first dream, first vision. Call those who follow you vegetarians. Tell them to prepare for the coming of. Everywhere you went, there was a signpost. The Lord is coming. Keep the Sabbath. The Lord is coming. But that proverb is changed. And people are saying he'll delay. He is not coming. There is no Jesus. there is nothing. You are believing in all those things, but every flesh will know he is on his way. Everyone will know. The burden.
The burden of this prophecy is time.
Yeah.
Concerning which there's been true and false visions.
Yeah, because even those with false visions are coming. He's never going to come. How many visions do we have for anything? Right? A.
The true vision or light on time was written on the chart or table.
Of Habakkuk 2, verse 2. Let's go to Habakkuk 2, verse 2.
Verse 2. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision.
Write the vision.
And make it plain upon tables.
Right?
That he may run that readeth it.
Right. Write it clearly. The vision. What vision? For the coming of Christ. It's no longer going to be in whispered tones. Everybody will say, greet you, he's coming. When you greet each other, now you say, blessed Sabbath, isn't it? You will be greeting that he's on his way. He's on his way. And write it so that anyone that read it should know.
Another vision.
Vision.
Good news. The Lord gave me this answer.
Right.
Write down clearly.
On
tablets
yes.
What I reveal to you, so that it can be read even at a glance.
At a glance, people say he's coming. At a glance. You know, when he comes, when he is come, he's about to come, isn't it? Yes. And everyone will whisper and say, he's coming. Ready or not, you will know he's coming. Right? God approved. Word to the little flock.
God approved of the proclamation of 1843.
Right?
And the 10th day of the 7th month,
1844.
By the pouring out of the Holy Ghost. Since the 7th month, 1844, the rebellious house of Israel have been removing the landmarks.
Did you see what is happening? Since 1844, when the third angel's message started preaching, what has the rebellious house been doing? Taking off landmarks so that nobody waits for the coming of Christ. This is from Spirit of Prophecy, not from me. And who wants to know the rebellious house? You visualize who is that one. If you remove the landmarks, you are part of it. There is someone who calls himself with a good name, isn't it? And yet God says the name is called the rebellious house.
Since the 7th month, 1844, the rebellious house of Israel have been removing the landmarks and writing and proclaiming false visions.
Did you see what they've been doing all along since 1844? Writing, proclaiming false visions so that we are not ready for the coming of Christ.
But we all know that it has been the work of man, not of God.
Right. Who causes you to go for wrong dates of meeting? Landmarks removed. Lord's Supper during the day. Landmarks removed.
The works of man.
It's the works of men. It's not a thus saith the Lord. You are only safe with a thus saith the Lord. This is we are reading from the word to the little flock. It's not me, it's the word. It's the book. You've got the book.
These flattering divinings
have
cheered on the rebellious house of Israel to some extent, but the work has not had the holy sanctifying influence as when God's hand was in the work of time.
Right? This is what happened from 1844. How did we fall? How did we fall? God is telling us how we have traveled. Yeah? How come we are not ready for the coming of Christ? How come we are ready to hope in the cloud when he is coming here on earth? And the voice is there in Jerusalem. And these are two distinct events. Right? The proverb.
The proverb that every vision faileth is or soon will be made complete.
Right?
And God will make it, and the false visions to cease.
The false visions will cease.
Yes.
Only the correct vision will stay.
Amen.
Yeah?
The proverb that every vision faileth is or soon will be complete. And God will make it, and the false visions to cease by speaking from heaven and giving his people the true time.
He will actually utter from heaven
So that no one will deny.
and tell his people, I'm coming on such a day and hour. So the visions that we're saying he is never going to come. If you tell me that we will never going to know the date and hour, you are saying the vision faileth. You're actually saying don't get ready because we don't know the time. But those who are getting ready will say the hour and the day will be announced. So you should know what you are saying. If you just say the day and hour won't be known, you are actually saying don't get ready because no one knows. What's the reason for that proverb? No one knows. So that people just stay. They relax. But if they know he is coming, they will get ready. Now, 11th paragraph.
Now, if the burden of this prophecy is time, I think all will admit that the word that the Lord God is to speak is the true time.
If the voice from the throne utters the day and hour, is the true time. Yeah?
The false visions that have been written, proclaimed by the house of Israel, by the rebellious house of Israel,
Have failed.
Yes.
but the words to be spoken by the Lord God will be the true time and will surely come to pass.
That will come to pass. We will know the day and the hour, and it will come from the throne. All the visions that say the day and hour is not going to be announced will fail. Those will fail. That the rebellious house has proclaimed. Yeah?
Jesus has left us the sure promise that his Father will make known the day and the hour of his coming.
Right. Is the Spirit of prophet saying that? Jesus has left us the sure promise that his Father will make known the day and the hour of his coming. The Lord
God
has promised
to speak
and
assures us that the word that he will speak shall come to pass. With such testimony as this before us, from the Father and Son, what other conclusion can we come to than that the word which the Father is to speak is the true time? When he speaks, his voice will make it known to the saint.
Right. When he shakes heavens and earth, before Christ descends, he will be announcing the day and hour. That will be made known. And all the visions that say Christ will never come will fail. As the signs.
As the signs in the sun, moon and stars have been literal.
Did we see the signs?
Yeah.
1833? They fell.
Yes.
That was the beginning of the sixth seal, isn't it? It began with the falling of the stars. They did fall. 1833. Yeah? Go to your history. They did. They were literal.
Yeah.
As the signs in the sun and moon and stars have been literal, right? The shaking of the powers of the heavens, Matthew 24, verse 29, must also be literal. That's the only thing left. The stars, look, read Matthew 24, verse 29. All that have been proclaimed in 1833 in Matthew 24, verse 29 was literal. Right? Matthew 24, verse 29.
Verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days,
Right?
shall the sun be darkened,
Was it literal?
Yes.
When was the sun darkened? When was the Lisbon earthquake? My goodness me, 1780, right? And in the same year, there was a darkening of the sun and moon, isn't it? Right.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened,
Right?
and the moon shall not give help.
It was after the dark ages. The tribulation was in dark ages, persecution, yeah? The sun darkened, the moon and stars. That's why I say 1790. When did we finish the dark ages? 1798. In 1780, there was these signs in the stars, in the sun and the moon, isn't it?
And the stars shall fall from heaven.
The stars fell in 1833, yeah? And
the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
that's the sign that is left. Because it will be shaken by the voice coming from the throne of God.
Amen.
So we have seen all these others, the darkening of the sun and the moon and the falling of the stars was literal.
Yes.
Go to the earth history, it will tell you it was literal. So the shaking of the heaven and earth will also be what? Literal. That's what is waiting, isn't it? Right?
And then shall the sign of the Son of Man, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven.
Right?
And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Do you see all those signs have to? So if the shaking of the heavens and happened when the Son of Man is there, so are we all correct to say the voice will be uttered before Christ descends? That voice is the announcing of the day and hour. We saw it in early writing, page 14. It will be announced. Yeah? The sign, word to little folk. The sign is not.
The sign is not in the past. And as it is the sign is not in the past. And as it is a sign, it must come prior to the advent itself.
Sign. When the shaking of the heavens and earth occurs, then we expect the Son of Man to what? To come. So, but we know the shaking of the heavens is the uttering of the voice of God. That's the voice coming from the throne. Yeah? Therefore,
it is clear
right,
that this last sign
will appear
when the Lord rose out of Zion.
Do you see this? Now the Lord rose out of Zion.
And shakes the heavens and the earth. When we believe that the signs in Revelation 6, verse 12 to 14 are the same as in Matthew 24, 29.
Did you see them in Revelation 6, verse 12? Let's read it.
Verse 12. And I beheld, when he had opened the sixth seal.
Do you see it's the opening of the sixth seal?
And lo, there was a great earthquake.
One.
And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair.
Right.
And the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs.
We have seen all that in the sixth seal, yes.
And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
Mark 13, verse 24.
Verse 24. But in those days, after that tribulation,
right,
the sun shall be darkened.
So you see, the tribulation is talking about is the persecution which was in dark ages. Then the sun was darkened. And what?
And the moon shall not give her light.
Right.
And the stars of heaven shall fall.
1833.
The heaven shall be shaken.
The powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. So that's what we are waiting for.
Yeah.
And then what? 25.
25. And the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then we see the Son of Man coming.
The Son of Man then follows. That's the sequence.
Amen.
That's the sequence, isn't it? But now we know when the earthquake is uttered from, the voice comes from the throne, is the voice announcing the day and the hour. Then the Son of Man shall come. Yeah? Then go to word to the little flock. Then the shaking.
Then the shaking of the powers of the heavens of Matthew 24, 29 is the same as the heavens departing as a scroll.
Right.
It is rolled together of Revelation 6, verse 14.
Right.
For they both follow the falling of the stars.
Right. We know 1833 the stars have fallen.
Yes.
Now we are waiting for this event of the shaking of the heavens. We are seeing all these pestilence and whatever. These are outside signs. But we want the actual signs of the coming of Christ. We have seen the stars in 1833. Now we are waiting for that very sign of the uttering of the voice. Only the children of God will hear the day and hour. But people will hear thunder and shaking of heavens and earth. Yeah? And what? Now,
what is this heaven
what is this heaven?
that is to be shaken and rolled together as a scroll?
What is it shaken and rolled as a scroll?
We may not see this event so clearly now,
Right?
as we show about the time of its fulfillment.
Right.
But still, it is our duty to receive and cherish all the light that we can see on this or any other future event.
Future events, yeah?
As we travel onwards toward the holy city, our bending lamps discover new objects, but we cannot see all at once.
Amen.
If we reject a little light,
Right?
because we cannot see the whole clearly at once, it will displease our heavenly leader,
Right?
and we shall be left in the dark. But
But,
if we cherish the light, as fast as it is our Lord's will to open it to us, He will increase the light, and our souls will feast upon the opening truths of the blessed Bible.
amen. So, because we are interested in the coming of Christ, He continues to open so that we know and get ready properly, because this is the vision that God says, this is the vision which will stay. The rest of the vision, they will fail. They will fail. And the next paragraph, the word heaven, what
The
does
word
it?
heaven.
We want to know what is this rolling of the word heaven.
The word heaven
Eh,
is applied to at least 4 places or things in the scriptures.
right? First,
First,
it is
it
applied
is
to paradise.
Paradise
You remember paradise?
was taken in vision.
Let's go to 2 Corinthians 12, verse 2 to 4. What is heaven? Heaven is in 3 stages, isn't it?
Verse 2. I knew a man in Christ about 14 years ago,
Right?
whether in my body, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell, God knoweth. Such a one got up to the 3rd heaven.
Right?
And I knew such a man, whether in the body or in out of the body I cannot tell, God knoweth.
Verse 4, have you seen?
How that he was caught up into paradise,
Right?
and heard unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter.
So, Paul talks about the 3rd heavens. That's where Christ, those people who say Christ left the earth and went to heaven once and is going to come back once. I don't know where they get it from. When Christ ascended, He went into the 3rd heavens. That's where there is the universal throne of God, where He is ruling the whole universe. You understand? The universe has got 12 planets. So all the 12 planets, He sees them in the 3rd heavens. That's why Christ is on the right side of... Did you see when Stephen was dying there?
Yes.
Go to the verse when Stephen, it's Acts chapter 7. Verse 59. When Christ went, He went to the 3rd heavens, where Christ is on the right side of God. Yeah?
And said, Behold, I see the heavens open,
Right?
and the Son of Man standing on the right hand of God.
This is what God opened for Stephen when he was dying. To see where Christ is. Christ was on the right side of God, isn't it? In the 3rd heavens, which is called paradise, which is called universal throne of God. Do you understand? Now here we have been told the heavens shall roll as a scroll. So we are starting to see what heaven is composed of, isn't it? Now the heaven is composed of paradise. Yeah? Where Paul was taken in vision. And this is the vision we saw in 2 Corinthians. Yeah? Now, second, what is the heaven composed on? To the region.
To the region of the sun.
Right.
And the stars with Genesis 1, verse 8 to 7.
Right. So the second one, what is called heaven? Is the stars, yeah? The region where the stars, the moon, and the sun are. What is that region called? Heaven. Heaven has got paradise. It's called also the region of the stars. Right, let's see the other one. Third one.
To the atmosphere which encompasses this earth, in which the fowls of heaven fly.
Right, what is that atmosphere?
Heaven.
It's called heaven. What? Mid-air. Mid-air. When you look up there, what you see? That vacant thing is called heaven.
Amen.
You understand? Now, and fourth,
To the church of God on earth.
that is heaven.
Amen.
Did you hear that? The heaven has got paradise. Heaven has got what? The region where the stars and the sun is. And what is also the mid-air?
Yes.
Spagapaga. All that is spagapaga. The space where the planes are flying easily. Some going to the moon and coming. They are going to heaven, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what else comprises heaven? The church of God on earth.
Amen.
When I say church, I don't mean a building. So don't get yourself very, very excited. But I mean the people who God calls my people.
Yes.
Who are keeping all his principles. And who are obeying him like Abraham and Adam, who did not even have a church, but the principles were in their heart.
Amen.
Do you understand? Thus, those are called heaven. Yeah, isn't? So the fourth is to the church of God on heaven. Revelation 14. Let's hear Revelation 14, verse 6.
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven,
Yeah.
having the everlasting
So where was this angel flying? There, where the planes are flying. So when you are boarding a plane, no, you are still going to visit heaven. Then when you are in heaven for some time, and then the announces now you are going down, and then you landed. You have been in heaven.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And did you hear that? Read and finish up to 7.
And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give glory to him,
Right.
for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made the heaven.
Right, go back to the word to the little flock. So the fourth is to the church of God on earth. It cannot
be paradise, nor the region of the heavenly lights, neither the church of God on earth, that is to be shaken and rolled together. As
Did you hear that?
Yes.
It can't be paradise shaken. It can't be
heavenly lights.
the heavenly lights shaken.
No.
Neither the church of God on earth, and the church, I mean people. Don't draw lines and draw them, because other houses are called rebellious. So please, be careful. You might label a rebellious and then think that's what God means. Now, those who are going to be translated, that's the church. Right. So that's clear, isn't it? It can't mean those.
Be paradise.
Yeah. Yes?
It cannot be paradise,
No?
nor the region of the heavenly lights,
No?
neither the church of God on earth,
No.
that is to be shaken and rolled together as a scroll.
No?
Therefore,
Therefore,
it must be the air around the earth,
right?
which the fowls of heaven fly.
Right. So what is this one affected? The air. Right. Let's hear from the vials. Revelation 16, verse 17.
17. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air.
Into the air. Into the air. Yeah.
And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air.
Right.
And there came a great voice.
Where were the vials poured?
In the air.
N, capital A, I, R. There where the planes fly. Huh?
Yes.
Where? The vials were poured where?
In the air.
Why? Is it done?
And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air.
Right?
And there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven, from the throne, saying, It is done. Yeah.
So where was it done? Which heaven was rolled as a scroll? Huh? It can't be paradise.
No.
It can't be the region where the sun and moon and stars. It can't be the church.
No.
The air. That's where the last plug went, in the air. Right, let's hear. We may.
We may now say that it is the seventh vial. Yeah. We may now say that it is the seventh vial and voice of God, which will shake the powers of the heavens,
Right?
and cause the great earthquake or the shaking of the earth. And that this event constitutes the last literal sign,
Right?
just before the sign of the Son of Man appears in heaven.
Right? It seems clear.
That all the vials,
Now, before Christ come, what is going to be affected? Huh? Eh? What is going to be rolled as a scroll? The sky. So that no planes fly there. That's the sign. Huh?
Yes.
Is that the sign
Yes.
of the coming of Christ? That even the sky will refuse to have any plane flying. Hey, did you hear that?
Yes.
Because that's the scroll. It was rolled as a scroll. How do you roll the sky with the air as a scroll? No, you stop it. You stop it working. Is it working? How does it work? How does the sky work? Allows planes to fly. Huh? Huh? So it means when Christ comes, even the planes will stop. Huh? Are they stopping?
Yes.
Are we near the end? Are we near the end?
Yes.
And everyone is saying, I've got a ticket. I've got a ticket. I've got, but what is being affected now? Have you been outside at night and see how many lights are there up there? But you find they'll come dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. When you find nations closed, no one moves, goes out of your bedroom. In other places you'll find even the pilot cannot fly. What happens to heaven in the universe? Standing still is rolled as a scroll. Huh? Let's read. It's interesting. If it can happen now, it means we have got to take heed. We have got to take heed. And because what I heard is that, and the heaven rolled as a scroll. The sign of the coming of Christ. Heaven rolled as a scroll. Read it. Read, let's see. And when you see things are happening very unique. They've never happened before. Go to the scripture and find out what is happening.
it seems clear that all the vials, the voice of God from the throne, the voices and thunderings and lightnings and the great earthquake and the falling of the cities of the nations and removing of the mountains and the islands are to take place before the advent.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Do we see all this removing of the mountains and the islands and the cities falling? Is it happening? Now let's go again.
This view, no doubt, will at once be rejected by men who profess to be looking for Jesus every day.
And people say, no, you have to. It's always like that.
Yeah.
Even when Noah went into the ark, it was like that.
This view, no doubt, will at once be rejected by men who profess to be looking for Jesus every day and hour. But I think it will appear very plain by comparing.
Let's compare Revelation 16, verse 17 to 21. Read it.
Verse 17. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air,
Did you see that? The vial was poured into the air.
And there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven, from the throne saying, It is done.
It is done.
And there were voices, and thunders, and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great.
Right.
And the sun, and the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came in remembrance before God to give unto her the cup.
Now compare that one with the Revelation 6, verse 14 to 17.
Verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll,
Right.
when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and the bondmen, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Have you seen some leaders of countries when they are going to places? What do you see first before they approach, before they come? What do you see? Motorcade. Warning that the leader is about to pass. Now, the leader from heaven coming on earth without a warning. Without nothing to show us and nothing to disturb our daily duty. You just all of a sudden see him. There should be something to show. He's about to come. Something which will shake everyone, even anyone writing in the office will go and say, what is this? And anyone, wherever, each corner of the world, where you are, will go and say, what? It should do. Make everyone stand hold tight when he is coming. And the reader that readeth should go into the books and read. Not just say, yati chi ndege nasi yati chi, ichavura, ichadini. You should go in and dig deeper and say, what is this? Now, let's go after. Wait to the little frog. Page 7, second paragraph. After the heavens.
After the heavens, depart as a scroll and roll together, and the mountains and the islands are moved out of their places. The kings of the earth, great men etc., hide in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, from the awful glory of the coming Jesus, attended by all the holy angels, and call for the rocks and mountains to fall on them, and hide them from the brightness of his coming, which is to destroy all the living wicked at his coming. And overwhelmed with anguish in view of their expected fate. When Christ and the angels draw near the earth to raise and gather the elect, they cry out, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?
Right? Who is able to stand? Yeah? Gone are the days where we enjoyed. Everything was going as normal as anything. Now, you stay in your bedroom. But don't think this event was not known by God. God knows everything happening on earth. But he also has to prepare us for his coming.
Amen.
Here, third paragraph.
Here we see that the wicked who are hid are still looking forward to the time when the saints alone will be able to stand before Christ at his appearing. If Christ should burst in upon the world as suddenly and unexpectedly as some teach, no one would think of hiding in caves,
Right.
dens and rocks, for they are not within their reach.
Right. Did you see that?
Yes.
This shows that an entire change must take place in the earth's surface prior to the second advent.
There is a change of things.
Yes.
Before Christ comes, there is a change of things.
This shows that an entire change must take place in the earth's surface prior to the second advent by the voice of God, in order for the wicked to have a chance to hide from the expected Lamb in caves, dens, and rocks of the mountain. When the Father utters his voice
From the throne.
which is to cause a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth. Then there will be a chance for all the wicked who are not swept off by the former plagues
To hide.
from the presence of the Lamb.
Right?
But rocks, caves, and dens will not shelter them from the burning glory of that holy throne. For all the living wicked are to be destroyed with the brightness of that coming.
Right?
God has promised to the people.
So tell me, when Christ comes, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. Read. Verse 8.
And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth,
Right?
and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
So the wicked will not be able to stand when Christ comes in Thessalonians, isn't it? They'll be destroyed. So when then are they hiding, saying, rock fall on us? It's a different event.
Yes.
Because when he comes in the clouds, they won't fall and hide.
No.
So it means there is a coming where Christ comes and the wicked will go to the rocks. Huh?
Yes.
I said by studying, we will get to our answer, isn't it? Right. God has promised.
God has promised to be the hope of his people. At the time his voice shakes the heavens and the earth.
Right?
His children have nothing to fear from the terrors of that day.
No, because it will be announcing. It will be announcing the day and hour.
Yes.
And they will be sheltered.
From the falling of the cities, mountains, and houses.
So what will fall from the voice? Cities, mountains, they will fall. Isn't it? And houses.
God's promise cannot fail.
Right?
That will be a glad day for the saints, for they will then be delivered from every outward foe and be filled with the Holy Ghost to prepare them to gaze upon Jesus and stand before him at his appearing. Then the saints better know the real worth of the blessed hope, and they will rejoice that they have been accounted worthy to suffer reproach for clinging close to the truth and strictly obeying all the commandments of God.
Right?
When God spoke to Moses in Sinai, his voice then shook the earth. And we are taught by Paul in Hebrews 12:22-27 that he is yet to speak from the city of the living God, and shake not only the earth, but also the heaven.
So where is he going to speak from? From the city of the living God. Where is the city of the living God? Go to Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews chapter 12. He is yet to speak from that city. Because we have seen two events where the wicked will never stand to watch Christ coming. The brightness only consumes them. But there is an event where they see him and run away and even ask the stone to fall on them. Which event is that?
Hebrews 12 verse 22.
Yeah.
But ye are coming unto Mount Zion, and unto the city of the living God.
Where is the city of the living God?
Heavenly Jerusalem.
And what?
And to an innumerable company of angels,
Right?
to the general assembly and church of the firstborn,
Right?
which are written in heaven, and to God the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect.
Right. So that's where we go. When you go to Mount Zion, to Jerusalem, where are you going? City of the living God.
Amen.
A place where there is innumerable company of angels.
Amen.
The church of the firstborn. Did you hear that? Now, here we are saying, when God spoke to Moses in Mount Sinai, his voice then shook the earth. And we are taught by St. Paul in Hebrews that he is yet to speak from the city of the living God and shake not only the earth, but also heaven. When God spake to Moses,
When God spoke to Moses, the glory rested on him, so that he had to cover his face with a veil,
right?
before his brethren could stand before him and hear the word of the Lord from his mouth. And may we not expect the same effect from the same cause?
Right?
If so, then, when God speaks from the holy city to all his people, as he did to Moses, all will have the glory poured on them, as Moses had it upon him.
Did he stand on Mount Zion in Revelation 14 with the... How did they get there, 144,000, when he's standing on Mount Zion? He sent the angels to collect them. Huh?
Yes.
He sent the angels to collect. That's what we heard. When he stands and utters his voice, he sends the angels to collect them. Isn't it? Uh-huh.
This outpouring of the Holy Ghost must take place before the second advent.
The outpouring of the latter rain. Does it take place when we are in heaven?
No.
Where does it take place?
Right.
So which event is that? Where he is on Mount Zion with the 144,000 receiving the latter rain. Which event is that? Do you see that he will be there in the city of the Most High? Mm-hmm.
This outpouring of the Holy Ghost must take place before the second advent to prepare us for the glory of that sin. For in our present state, none of us could stand a single moment before the brightness of that coming, which is to destroy the man of sin. At the presence of one angel, at the resurrection of Christ, the Roman guard fell like dead men to the ground. It is therefore necessary that the saints should share largely in the glory of God, to prepare them to stand before the Son of God when he comes with all the holy angels with him.
Right. To the next paragraph, paragraph 6. Our present trying. 7.6. Our present trying.
Our present trying, waiting, and watching state is represented by a dark night.
Right?
And the coming glory before us by the morning.
Right?
There are two parts of the morning. First, the day of dawn, and second, full daylight.
Do you see the morning has got two parts? First, before the sun comes up, it will be morning. It's dawn. And then next, what is it? The full daylight. You see the sun there.
Which is completed by the rising of the sun.
Right?
So, in the glad morning before us.
So, we have a glad morning now. The sun hasn't come, isn't it? Yes. But it's morning. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The day of rest will dawn at the voice of God.
Right. We start with the voice of God. And
the day of dawn. Sorry. So in the glad morning before us, the day of rest will dawn at the voice of God. When his light and glory rest upon us, then we shall rise from glory to glory, till Christ appears to clothe us with immortality and give us eternal life. Oh, glory, hallelujah. My poor heart is set on fire for the kingdom. While I dwell
what is the spirit of prophet saying? My poor heart is set forth on fire for the kingdom. What is coming first?
The kingdom.
The kingdom.
While I dwell on this sweet prospect before the true believer, if we hold fast but a few years more, the dark shades of night will vanish before the glory of the preparatory scenes of the coming of the Son.
So the coming of Christ will be in the kingdom.
Amen.
Let us be ready for the kingdom. The kingdom is about to be established. First, the heaven shall roll as a scroll. Yeah? And then we hear the sound of the dead and time of his coming. May God bless this lesson.
Amen.